In this video, we're going to learn about the tools used to manipulate X-rays. They are accessible by clicking in the exposure mode on the top right. The button labeled Maximum will bring up the tools in order to manipulate, layout, and annotate images. These are the same tools used in the viewer mode in order to manipulate, layout, and annotate images. Once the tools are visible in the exposure mode, in order to get the dog back in order to acquire more images, you simply click the top right button, now labeled Minimum. We'll now go over the tools in the viewer. In the viewer mode, we have a number of different things displayed on our screen. On the top, we have different patients that we can toggle through to notice that they have different X-rays available to us for those different patients. On each image, we have an overlay that details some different information. This information may be different on your clinic than what is displayed in this video, but things such as the patient ID, name, birthday, age, study date, exposure values, date of image, time of image, the animal hospital with which they were acquired, the performing physician, and the step or body part with which these images were labeled as once acquired. In the middle of the screen, we have the Reject button. The Reject button will simply mark an image as bad and no longer allow you to interact with that image, i.e., you will not be able to manipulate the image, annotate the image, or use any of the tools to send the image. The image is not deleted, it is simply placed in limbo. In order to retrieve the image, one will click on the trash icon and say yes to restore this image, and the image is back and able to be manipulated, annotated, and sent. You'll notice there are different thumbnails for the X-ray. The current X-ray thumbnail is circled by a yellow square. The top right, we have the body part with which this body part image was labeled. In this case, it was an abdomen DV. In the case of this image, it was an abdomen lateral. We then have the tool to change step. By clicking on change step, we can now find a different body part. If the incorrect body part was labeled during acquisition, we can change it, i.e., an abdomen was captured under a thorax, or a thorax was captured under an abdomen. We simply scroll through the list to find the body part that's needing to be changed to, and click OK. That will then change the labeling of that body part on the bottom right of the image and the top right of the screen. The next option is for process control. This brings us all of the image processing capabilities, and normally we are able to adjust the contrast, the sharpness size, the brightness, the tone type, and image noise reduction. Once those are adjusted to the requested readings, we would click Process and the image would reprocess. I will not show you image processing in this video. The main video will show the manipulation tools. The default tool is Select. Select, when used with the left mouse button and held down, will drag and highlight any annotations in the area of the image. This is for simply selecting image annotations. The next tool, which is Zoom, while holding the left mouse button down and dragging up or down, we can zoom into an image. The next tool is Pan. Holding the left mouse button and dragging the mouse left or right, up or down, will allow us to pan in that image. The next tool is W/L. This is window leveling. Window leveling is always available on the right mouse button of your mouse. Simply holding down the right mouse button and dragging left or right, up or down, will change the window leveling of that image. This is also known as brightness and contrast. The magnifying glass, or magic glass, allows us to 2-time magnify a specific portion of the X-ray. Crop rectangle, or rectangle crop, will uncrop the X-ray. An uncropped X-ray simply shows us the image for the entire detector. What happens is when an image is acquired and you've collimated the X-ray field the image will automatically crop to that collimated area. However, oftentimes this software can have an error, and what you'll see is a gray line around the side of the image, or even only a partial image. If you acquire an image and you see only part of the image, but you know you've acquired more of that image, click on the crop function and uncrop to the area of interest and press the select tool. That will allow the crop to allow full image capability and manipulation. INV is the invert function. White becomes black, black becomes white. Pressing on INV again will reset that to normal. CW is clockwise rotate 90 degrees. CCW is counterclockwise rotate 90 degrees. Flip flips so that the top is the bottom and the bottom is the top. Clicking on it again will reset it to normal. Mirror will make the left the right and the right the left. We'll flip it on the vertical axis. Clicking it again will return it to normal. Fit will fit an entire X-ray that is cropped to the area of interest, thereby resetting the zoom to fit the entire X-ray to the screen. Real size will zoom in to 100% and show you the life size if you were to hold the animal to the monitor of the computer. Layout is simply how these images are displayed. One image by one image, one row by one column, 2 rows by 2 columns, or if you click on User, you'll get a grid that you, as you move your mouse over these boxes, will fill in appropriately and show you the images. The images are always displayed in the order that they are captured, i.e. image 1, image 2, image 3, image 4, image 5, image 6, and so on through. If we had 5 images in this case and we clicked on the 5th image, it would show image 5, 6, 7, and 8. Annotations are thought of as overlays. The distance will draw a distance. In order to interface or interact with that annotation, we will highlight and select the Select tool. Clicking on that annotation now allows us to move the text box and interact with it, making it larger or smaller, and moving the text box out of the way. And then if we wanted to move our measurement to a specific portion of that X-ray, we can use the handles or bubbles and measure that particular portion or area. When an image annotation is no longer needed, you can press the Delete key on the keyboard or the Delete Annotation button under the Annotation toolbar. Angles can also be drawn by clicking and dragging and clicking again. Arrows, squares or rectangles, circles or ellipses. Right label will throw an R on the top left corner of the image. Left label will throw an L on the top right corner of the image. Again, using the Select tool, if we hold the left mouse button down and drag, we can select multiple annotations at once in order to delete those annotations. The Text tool brings up predefined text. These are words for a marker type. There is a number of different pages available. In this case, there's only one page available of markers, one page of positions, one page of projections, 2 pages of angle measurements, 2 pages of timestamps. When an annotation is selected, you can drag. I am using no mouse button, but other than moving the mouse into the image where I want the image annotation placed and clicking the left mouse button. After the annotation is placed, you can always manipulate to make larger, smaller, or move into a different area later on. The Hide Annotations button will simply hide the annotations from display. It will also lock you out of any annotations further being made. Unclicking on Hide will bring the annotations back to display. And last but not least, the Delete annotation will delete annotations from the screen. When images are acquired using the exposure mode and a client or patient is closed, those images are automatically sent to the destination of choice. They can be also used to be sent using the Send tool. MultiSend brings up a list of different destinations and allows you to select a specific destination to send to. In this case, we can send to PACS, RAD Service 1, or RAD Service 2. RAD Service 1 and RAD Service 2 are examples of telemedicine or radiology services. Reject Image does the same as the trash icon. It will simply mark an image as bad, lock out any manipulation, annotation, or tool interface usage with that image. Therefore, if we had this lateral rejected and we go to send images, it will not send this rejected image. To bring that image back, we simply highlight and click Restore. Close Study will close the current study. Close All will close all of the open studies. Copy Image creates a duplicate of the image with today's date and time, and on occasion will actually add the text, the word copied, to the image. Lastly, if we ever are in trouble and we're not quite sure how to remove any changes we've made, we can click the Reset button to restore the correct original captured image.